Hello everybody and welcome back to Lotus Operations, and in today's quick video I'm actually going to be referencing another video that I made to where I attempted to collect water from the ground using a solar still, but in the course of 2 hours we only received a half a teaspoon of evaporated water. And in today's video I am going to be showing you another trick of how you can collect water from basic plants around you due to the same process, but you're collecting the evaporation from the leaves of the plants instead of from the ground. Now, we are going to see with this video if this process collects more water than the ground or not. And as I mentioned in my last video, to increase the water supply in your evaporation, you would add vegetation or unsterile water that you could evaporate from the process to make sterile water for you to be able to drink. But let's begin this process, and so we can see exactly if this process is a better way of collecting water, or would this be another substitute to basically trying to survive in the wild. So in this video you're going to basically need a clear plastic bag, a form of a way of tying the bag to the tree or bush, whatever you're trying to attempt to collect evaporation from, whether it be a rope, string, whatever. Now, if you're going to be in the wild, you may not have the stuff on you unless you prep ahead of time just in case, but you need a way of sealing the bag onto the tree so you can trap as much moisture into the bag as possible. And we are going for this video tutorial, I'm going to be using this tree here. I know it's not a poisonous tree. Now, that is the one risk that you have when collecting moisture from plants is you cannot, I repeat, you cannot collect moisture from poisonous plants due to the fact that the evaporated moisture within the bag will also be toxic, and it would still have the same effects as if you ate the plant itself. So you have to make sure you collect moisture from a plant that you know is not toxic whatsoever. But I am going to be using this tree, and we are going to find a section of a tree limb that we want to use for the video. We are going to clear off a section of the tree limb, shove it into the bag, zip tie it on there nice and tight to prevent any moisture escape, and then we are going to do our time frame to see exactly how well this process works. I just hope I don't punch a hole in the bag. Everybody, welcome back, and as you can see I trapped a limb within the bag here. Now, I know I didn't show me tying it up process, but it's not that hard to tie up a freaking limb to a tree. And as you can see, I used a zip tie here to create a really strong seal. As you can see, the zip ties right there. But now I trimmed off the leaves here to create as smooth of a surface as possible so I can get a better seal around the limb. And then all the branches that I broke off I shoved inside here, so therefore we would be able to have more evaporation. Now, of course, like with the solar still, the more leaves that you have trapped in there, the more water you get. But of course now you cannot trap multiple branches in there, because then you start creating a evaporation point, because you're not going to get a perfect seal. So it's better to have a large bag. Now, this is just a 33-gallon size bag, so I can only fit so much of branches in there without taking a chance of tearing the bag. But the larger the bag you have, the more you can trap, the larger limbs you can trap. And as long as you can create a seal to prevent moisture, then the more branches you have, the more water you're going to get. So now we are going to start the time process for 2 hours. And it is currently 17:11 right now at 82 degrees, so 5:11 at 82. So at 7:11 we are going to come back and we are going to see exactly how much water in 2 hours has evaporated from this bag. Now, I know that this process may take a lot longer than normal to collect moisture and to be able to do stuff, and that being that this is in the shade, it's not going to be as much as if it was in direct sunlight. But we are just going to see for tutorial purposes, and if we have to redo this again, we will redo this entire video again with a different bag on a different plant and see the difference. So we're going to wait 2 hours and let's see what happens. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Lotus Operations, and it has been officially 2 hours later. It is currently 6:58 time frame. If you can see it from the... It's kind of hard. Wait, phone went off. There we go. 6:58. I'm actually 5 minutes shy of the 2 hour time frame that I gave you, but we are going to see the results. Now, the temperatures has died down to a nice 90 degrees. So it actually went up in temperature wise and then what it was before. So we're going to see exactly how much condensation we have, how much water buildup we have. Now, like I said before, I doubt this is going to do as good as the ground because one, it did not get as much direct sunlight. It was a little bit in the shade, and the trees may not evaporate as much as the ground. But we are going to see exactly in a 2-hour time frame if you even have any water collection within the bag, or if this is going to be an all-day process that needs to be in direct sunlight and high heat temperatures to collect. But we want to see just how effective this is, so you know if this is an effective method to collect water or not. So let's go to the bag and see exactly what we have. Well, as you can see here, it may be hard to see from the film, but I can see some condensation starting to build up within the bag. Now, the slight haze on the bag is not the camera, it's actually the condensation. As you can see here, we've got some wet leaves building up in there, so you can see that it is condensating. But is there anything on the bottom of the bag? So honestly, it does not look like there is any water buildup within the bag. So what we are going to do, just for shits and giggles, we are going to leave this overnight and all day tomorrow, and we are going to test this tomorrow evening time frame to see exactly in a 24-hour span if this is worth it or not. See, we are going to do a timestamp right now at 1900 hours, Saturday, April the 25th. At 1900 hours, we are going to recheck the bag tomorrow, so it's going to give the bag a full 24-hour time frame. Actually, we can check it at 1700 hours because that's when we first initially sealed it, and we're going to see in a 24-hour time frame how effective it is to use the tree method to collect water, or if it is still better to find water and purify it. Now, I don't know if I specified this before, compared or not, but when collecting water from vegetations, you do not need to add purification tablets or purify it at all. When you're collecting water from the environment, always assume that the water is contaminated. Even if you filter out dirty water with filtration systems, homemade filtration systems, other filtration systems, always assume that it is contaminated and use purification processes, aka boiling water, purification tablets, 4 drops of chlorine per gallon of water, or solar stills or other forms of way of purifying the water to kill all forms of bacteria. Never assume water is safe, except in the fact of collecting from vegetations, aka trees or plants or banana trees or water vines. If you collect water from a plant, it is already naturally filtered and you do not need to purify it any more than what it is. Now, it will taste like vegetation, but it keeps you alive, and that's what matters the most. So I will see y'all guys in 24 hours, and we shall see exactly if this is effective or not. Good morning, campers, and welcome back to Lotus Operations, and it is currently 10:18 in the morning. Let's get this time check here. Wait, damn it. There we go, 10:18 in the morning, April the 26th. And here we are checking in on our bag in the morning time frame. I know I said 24 hours, but we were going to see the process. Now, as you can see, you're starting to see some water droplets run down the bag. Now, we are going to give this till 5 to 7 o'clock this afternoon to see a full 24-hour process, exactly how much water it collects in a 24-hour time frame, since it did not collect anything in a 2-hour time frame. So let's sit here, and around 1700 today I am going to actually come in and we are going to see the results of the water and if it is effective, or if the ground is so far the most effective alternate source of water. I'll get back to y'all this afternoon at 1700. Good afternoon, campers, and we have now officially hit our 24-hour notice. As you can see right here, it is 1746. 1746. It's kind of hard to see the one with the background. Here, this will be better. Boom. Boom. There we go. 1746, April 26th. And we are going to go see the status of our water 24 hours later. Now, if this has a water in it a lot, then we know that this is going to be a slower process, a once a day collection style instead of a faster result. So let's see how much water is actually in here. So as you can see in the bottom of the bag, we actually are having water starting to collect within the bag. It's hard to see exactly how much is in the bag, but as you can see, the water is flowing back and forth in here. So we're going to shake off some of the moisture from collection 24 hours, and as you can see, there is water in there. Now, it looks like from basically what this amount here, it looks like it's going to be the same, or actually less process than before. So I'm guessing from this amount here, I'm going to actually leave it on, and we are going to see, I'll decide if I'm going to leave it on, and we're going to see exactly how much water can be collected, how many days it takes to collect a good sizable amount of water. So 24 hours, basically another half a teaspoon, you can say, from what I'm guessing there. I don't want to measure it out yet, because I want to see exactly how many days it takes to collect a cup of water on the evaporation thing. So we're going to say that this process is effective, but it is not a process I would choose, because 24 hours, half a teaspoon, that's slower than the ground. So I recommend at the moment to use the solar steel sun evaporation water method if you are not near a stream or another source of water to collect water fast. This process works, but it's way, way, way too slow of a process to collect water. So now, I'll get back to you when we get a good measurable size of water to drink. Hello everybody, and welcome back to 48 hours later after we wrapped the tree in the plastic bag right there. As you can see, the time is currently 17:21 on the 27th of April, and we are now going to see if after 48 hours of the bag being stuck inside the tree, if it actually increases the moisture content within the bag. And we are going to actually measure this and see exactly how much moisture collects in a 48-hour time frame. I did some research on this, and the more moisture that's within the environment, the less the moisture is going to produce. And it produces more moisture if there's wind. Well, of course, there's wind right now, but the wind's not going across the leaves to create the evaporation. And the higher the heat content. So as you can see here, we can see a lot more water within the bag than there was yesterday. But we are going to take the bag down today to actually see exactly how much water is collected within this environment, to see if in a 2-day time frame, you know, exactly how much it collects. As you can see, more water is steady, constantly dripping down into our bag right here. So as you can see, the process does work, but let's see exactly how much water it collects. We have our bowl, and we are going to cut this and collect the water, hoping that the water does not all fall out and I lose everything I was trying to work for the entire time. Now, of course, in a real survival situation, you would not be cutting your bag of water. You would actually have a straw inserted into it, which would come out the top, which is wrapped around, so you can continuously drink the water and keep collecting the water from the tree. But for tutorial purposes, we're going to cut and we're going to measure to see exactly how much water is collected in a 48-hour time frame. So as you can see, the water here is a good amount of water. Now this water in a survival situation is pure water and is 100% drinkable. I'm actually going to taste it to see what it tastes like. But let's see exactly how much we actually was able to collect. Again, we are using our little medicine thingamajig, and we are going to dump this in to here to see exactly where we are at. So, as you can see, we collect exactly 10 milliliters of water, or 2 teaspoons, in a 48-hour time frame. So now, the tree process is a slower process in collecting water, but basically you are getting, on average, you can say, a teaspoon of water a day, or it was a smaller amount the first day and a higher amount the second day. It'd be better if we measured exactly after 24 hours and then 48 hours to see the exact ratio of it producing water. But let's see. Not bad. Not bad at all. It tastes like water with bark in it. That's basically what it tastes like. I'm not going to drink too much because, honestly, I don't know if that tree is toxic at all, but I doubt it because, I mean, I can't remember what type of tree it is, but I know it's not a toxic tree. You can cook over that wood, so I know we're fine on that part there. But, yeah, so, honestly, I mean, it's drinkable water. It tastes actually really good. It tastes like bark stuck inside of water. So, but I'm going to remove the bag and... Okay, everybody, the name of the evaporation from water to tree is transpiration, or transpiration, basically through the pores of the trees. And that tree, I found out, is a Japanese elm tree that I collected the water from, and it actually doesn't taste that bad. It's actually really kind of barkish tasting, but not that bad, actually. I would drink glasses of it if I had to survive, but I would need a hell of a lot more bags to collect a lot more water than 2 teaspoons in 48 hours. So, hope y'all enjoyed the video. And oh yes, the optimal temperatures for collecting water is between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, or 68 degrees to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are your optimal temperatures to where the leaves release the most moisture. Now, everything depends upon your environment. The hotter it is, the more moisture is released. The less humidity in the air, the more moisture is released. The more humidity, the less moisture it releases. Also, it depends upon wind. If there's more wind, it releases it faster than others. But unfortunately, with the bag over the leaves, there's not going to be any wind going across the leaves, so you cannot use the wind as a factor in determining how much moisture is released. Mainly, it's going to be the humidity outside / inside, because now the bag's going to be trapping it inside, so the more humidity inside the bag, the less moisture is going to be released into your bag. But basically, your main factors are going to be the temperature outdoors. The hotter it is, the more you're going to get, and so it will actually affect the amount that you collect, and it will affect also to the type of leaves that you use, because the bigger the leaf, of course, the more surface area, the more moisture that will be released. So if you want to try this out on different plants. Comment below what plants you find releases the most moisture and gives you the most results to this, if you are interested in this. If not, you now know how to collect water from trees and have a chance to survive in the wild. But remember, this is not your main source of collecting water. This could only be a substitute to your other sources of water, because this collection process will not keep you alive in worst case scenario unless you got a lot of bags and a lot of areas wrapped up to where you can drink a hell of a lot of water in the time frame that you need. Lotus Operations out, and have fun now.